Bhante, could you elaborate on the correlation between understanding of impermanence and practicing metta? The word impermanence is anicca, and of course the most common English translation is impermanent. And so some people are kind of like, well, what does that mean? It's almost like a buzzword these days, right? There's another way to translate this, and it's unstable, right? So everything in existence, the Buddha says, has three characteristics or three marks. The first is that everything is impermanent or unstable. If you try to cling to it, to grasp to it, to depend on it, you're going to cause yourself suffering because it is not stable. It will change. It will move. The simile I like to use is like you're in a shipwreck in the middle of the ocean and you're desperately trying to grab for pieces of wood to keep yourself afloat. But every time you grab for something, it just starts breaking apart. And you're just desperately trying to grab for that. But there's nothing that you can hold on to. There's nothing that you can be solid with. It's all impermanent. And so us actually trying to assume that something is permanent, something is stable, that is how we create our own suffering. That is how we create dukkha, which is the second mark of existence. And the third, which I'm not going to go into too much, is that everything is not self. As if everything is changing, unstable, impermanent, and when attached to causes suffering, how can it be self? Right? So, if you know that everything, all of us, within 100 years, we're all dead. That none of us are alive within 100 years. We're all gone. We're all here for a very short period of time. We're all impermanent. That cuts through a lot of the BS that we normally think in life, doesn't it? If we have a short time, why am I going to waste my time having ill will towards people? Why am I going to waste my time dealing with all these kinds of stupid things that a lot of people deal with? People who waste their lives like that are doing so because they are not being mindful and they're not understanding the reality of this. And the Dhammapada, the Buddha says, there are those who know that one day they will die. Those who know they will die end their quarrels. So if you know that everyone is impermanent, everybody's impermanent, everything is impermanent, everything's unstable, it's much easier to develop that metta. You don't even have to think, like this is coming from what I mentioned about what Bhante told me, about how really seeing impermanence, metta comes naturally. If every being's everywhere in existence, if you have that view of impermanence, you're stepping back and seeing that we're all stuck in this hellhole of samsara and we're all being reborn and going through all of this, and what can you have but metta and compassion? You know, what else can you have? I mean, if you were able to see that, I think that's the reason why Buddha has, they say Buddha has the most deep compassion, because he could see everything at such a grand scale. Whereas normally we're so stuck in our blinder scale. Right? We're stuck in that level. Metta, this practice helps you to see a grander level. And when you see that, we're all dead, it's easy to practice metta. It's easy to have goodwill because you know the danger of not having it.